Welcome back to Top 10 Scary Urban Legends. If you haven't already, be sure to click that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a scary video ever again. I'm your host Andrew, and today is all about the top 10 scary high school stories that will terrify you. Let's get right into this list. Coming in at our number 10 spot, we have Chopticon High School. The Chopticon High School in Maryland has a tragic history that still haunts the building to this day. In the summer of 1983, a teacher named Mrs. Heater was working alone in the school when she was brutally attacked and killed by a maintenance worker named Lester Broom. Broom then dragged her body to the nearest bathroom on the second floor before being caught and convicted of the crime. Since then, many students and faculty members claim to have seen the ghost of Mrs. Heater haunting the hallways and specifically the bathroom where she was found dead, while some accounts only involve the sound of high heels clicking through the halls or in the bathroom when no one is around. Even those who are unaware of the history of the school often report feeling a general sense of unease when walking through this building. With such a tragic past, it's no wonder that the ghost of Mrs. Heater still roams the halls of Chopticon High School, reminding everyone of the terrible event that occurred to her there. At a number 9 spot, we have the Toowoomba Secondary School. The Toowoomba Secondary School in Australia has a haunted history dating back to its use of a military headquarters during wartime. Several ghost stories have emerged over the years, including the urban legend of a man on fire, a priest still roaming the chapel, and a woman appearing in the administration building. In 2015, a local ghost hunting group published a historic glass photo taken at the school that showed a ghostly figure among a group of boys. The blurry figure in the photo appears to be wearing the same uniform as the rest of the students and is considered proof of ghostly activity. The photo is now hanging on a wall inside of the school, adding to its already spooky atmosphere. Visitors to the school report feeling a sense of unease, even if they're not aware of any of the ghost stories, which only adds more to this school's eerie reputation. At a number 8 spot, we have the Jeppe High School for Boys. The Jeppe High School for Boys in Kensington, Johannesburg has a very dark history dating back to the early days. The school was built to educate the children of minors and has since become an esteemed institution with a beautiful main building and a war memorial declared national monuments in 1986. However, Jeppe Boys Secondary School also has a very spooky reputation attached to it, thanks to the ghost of a woman who is said to haunt the corridors of the on-site hostel. According to local legends, the woman committed suicide after the death of her husband during World War I. Some versions of the story suggest that she was actually the mother of a Jeppe Boys student who witnessed her son's accidental death on the sports field after being impaled by a javelin. In either case, the woman allegedly took her own life by jumping from a nearby hill and was somehow decapitated. Now her ghost is sent to roam the corridors of the school hostel, crying for her son and holding her head in her hands. The spooky tales of the ghost hauntings have scared many of the boys who stayed in the hostel during school terms. Some have reported seeing the ghost walking around the corridors or even hearing her cries echoing through the halls every single night. At a number 7 spot, we have the Rizal High School in the Philippines. The Philippines has a reputation for being a hotspot for ghosts. Trust me, I know that. And in 2015, a high school there was at the center of a viral ghost story. Two best friends took a selfie in a school bathroom and were shocked to see a spooky figure crouching next to a trash can in the background when they reviewed the photo. The figure appeared to be a girl with long black hair, wearing black clothes and staring directly at the camera. The photo quickly went viral, with social media users comparing the ghost Samara from the horror film The Ring. Despite accusations of a fake photo, the students insisted that they didn't edit the photo and that the ghost was actually real. This incident led to other students reporting their own ghostly sightings on the school's premises, and the administration even considered blessing the building to get rid of all the supernatural entities within it. This story just highlights the power of social media just to spread these stories like wildfire. Number 6, the Turakina Girls College in New Zealand. In 2014, two students at the Turakina College in New Zealand fled the school after being allegedly threatened by a ghostly figure dressed in a black cape and a hat. The school administration initially accused the girls of making up the story, which caused the parents to become involved and become very angry over the handling of the matter. The parents accused the school of being in denial about the haunting and reacted negatively when a reverend suggested that the ghost had been fabricated by the girls. As the controversy continued, a former student named Kelly Sleepin came came forward with her own experiences at the hostel dating back 20 years. She shared that she and some classmates had witnessed a cup move across the table on its own before dropping to the floor. A minister was called in to bless the building, but Sleepin later saw an apparition on the main floor. The situation at the school escalated quickly after that, and it was since closed in 2016 due to financial difficulties that caused student enrollment to decline from 152 just down to 47. However, the haunting at the school still remains a topic of discussion to this day, with some people suggesting that the ghostly figure in the black cape and hat was a manifestation of the school's history and culture. Others speculate that the ghost has been a real person who had died in the building and now just haunts the place. Regardless of the cause, the ghostly apparition is a reminder of the school's past and many of the stories that have emerged from its halls. In the Humper list, we have Inside the Library. A school library is a place where students go to study and work on assignments. And on one night, a now deleted Reddit user was working inside of this library when they heard a loud sound of someone flipping through book pages. At first, they tried to ignore it, but it continued for several minutes, becoming increasingly louder. Another student in the room became annoyed and started to search for the source of the sound. The Reddit user joined in on the search, and they both walked down the bookshelves, just trying to locate the source of the sound. Despite their search efforts, they found no one. They hadn't seen anyone come into the room, and they were on the side of the room with the only entrance, so there was no way anyone could have entered without seeing them. When they returned to their seats, the noise started again, and this time it sounded like it was coming from right next to the other student's chair. The other student quickly grabbed his things and left, with the Reddit user following close behind. The user believes that the noise they heard was caused by a weird book ghost, and ever since, they have never returned back to this library at night, because the night after, the same thing occurred, even when other people were present. At a number 4 spot, we have the Hibbing High School. Hibbing High in Minnesota is not your typical average school building. Here, the staircases are marble, the railings are brass, and art walls hold the whole almost medieval design together. The auditorium was modeled after the Capitol Theater, which is a sight in itself. And when Bob Dylan was still Robert Zimmerman and a student at Hibbing High, he performed on the auditorium stage during a talent show. But even with star performers and a stunning design, it's a lone seat inside the auditorium that attracts the most attention from everyone. The story goes that the first stage manager named Bill was employed at the school from 1927 to the late 1960s, when he passed away after a chandelier fell on his head. Rumors soon arose that Bill never really left his favorite seat in the theater, named J47. In the early 90s, Chuck Perry, who at that point has been stage manager since 1979, took a series of photographs of the auditorium after a woman reported feeling a cold chill as she walked around the J47 row. And lo and behold, one of the photographs taken with a Polaroid showed a man sitting in the seat, wearing formal clothes and a top hat. And they said that you could reportedly see right through him. Number 3, the St. Charles East High School. Ghosts are scary enough as it is, but when they're accompanied by a horrifyingly gruesome backstory, they become the fuel of nightmares. St. Charles East High School in Illinois is where it is rumored that the spirit of a former freshman girl haunts the halls, said to have been playing with her flute in the band room when a deranged janitor assaulted her and took her life. She was then cut into pieces and stuffed into various lockers at this school. Since then, band students occasionally run across body parts in their lockers, only to have them disappear right in front of them after they try to show it. Others claim to hear the sounds of a faint flute being played when the room is quiet or when they are alone. Worst of all, many have had their flutes disappear mysteriously, while others notice signs that their instrument has been played while left at the school overnight. Number 2, Las Vegas High School. Las Vegas is all glitz, glamour, money, and well, ghosts. There are quite a few haunted places in Sin City, including Zach Bagans' The Haunted Museum, Westgate, and the Luxor. In 1931, the Las Vegas Academy of the Arts was known as Las Vegas High School. It was the first official high school in the city and the place where the ghost of a former teacher named Mr. Petrie roamed after he passed away in a mysterious fire. Even after the school converted into an arts academy, rumors of the haunting continued. Some people reported seeing a man in a white tux occupying a particular seat in the theater, very similar to what happens at Hibbing High School, which we already talked about. Meanwhile, others felt sharp temperature drops and experienced intense feeling of sadness and despair whenever they entered the building. A teacher named John Morris was skeptical about these stories, but he did admit to having a strange experience of his own. The high school was put on a play called the Spoon River Project, and the stage was set up with a fog machine and a makeshift cemetery. The director of the play approached Morris and told him she saw a small naked Mexican boy standing right next to her during the production. The boy told her that he needed clothes before disappearing. Morris rolled his eyes and tried to convince the director that it was all in her head. The rest of the night went off without a hitch, and after everyone left, only Morris and his 3-year-old daughter were left inside of the theater. Morris was making sure all the doors are locked and shut before calling his daughter so they can go home. She was playing on a mound of grass used in the play and told her father she didn't want to go yet because she was playing with a friend. Morris didn't see anyone, and believing she was talking about an imaginary friend, he indulged her by saying she could play for a few minutes. His daughter then said, "It's that little boy over there. He doesn't have any clothes on." At a number 1 spot, we have the Portland High School. The old high school in Portland, Michigan originally opened in 1881. According to a long-standing urban legend, a 14-year-old student was crushed till she passed away underneath a pile of gym bleachers that collapsed on her in 1918. The janitor, who reportedly failed to fix the bleachers after learning they were faulty, had disappeared all of a sudden. It is believed that the student's father took the life of the janitor out of revenge for his daughter's passing. He then burned the body and set fire to the school. The school was then rebuilt and reopened in 1920. However, the ghost of the girl and the janitor still remained in the school, as with many people reported. Decades later, the school was converted into a housing complex named Old School Manor. It then served as housing between 1992 and 2008, and that during that time, several tenants reported that their household items would just disappear on their own, only to be found stacked on top of one another in a completely different room. Others reported hearing the disconnected school bells ringing, and some have even encountered the ghost of a student who allegedly slapped them on the back. One tenant in particular had a horrendous experience with the janitor's ghost. She alleged that the ghost would terrorize her 2-year-old daughter and demand that she tell her mother that they move out of their apartment. Well, these are the top 10 scary high school stories that will terrify you. What do you guys think about this list? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts, and a comment down below with some future suggestions. I'm your host Andrew, and be sure to click that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss a video. I hope you guys have a scary day.